Welcome to the Northerners Podcast. We are two friends in fiber who knit and occasionally do other crafty things.
We've been known to craft some other things.
We've been known to craft other things. My name is Jocelyn. I call Winnipeg, Manitoba home, and my co-host is
Diana, and I call Waterloo, Ontario home.
I keep changing the intro up on Diana, so thankfully she can think on the fly, but we're going to say that's thanks to caffeine. It's Sunday, July the something or other, and it's early afternoon. There's been thunderstorms, there's been cat racing about, and the laundry's on the go. So episode 173 is going to be interesting.
We had a solid storm. My phone has screamed at me twice to warn me about tornadoes. Like, it got dark as night and so much rain I couldn't see a block. It was a storm, and it lasted all of 20 minutes. So
We had light rain.
Now it's just rain.
Light rain this morning, but it's sunny and a high of 24 today. So a decent summer day.
Oh yeah, the clouds are starting to break up, but yeah, it's still a little bit dark, hence this lighting situation.
That's fine. None of us are running super professional lightings yet. I'm working on that for both of us. So, I suppose we should talk about what's in our cup.
Indeed.
I keep waiting for the cat to come. Yeah, I keep waiting for my cat to just randomly show up and decide she needs attention. Go for it.
All right. I have gotten the second installment of my fancy coffee subscription because the YouTubers are all on about some such coffee subscription, and I looked it up and it's an American one. I'm like, I don't really want to ship American stuff over the border at the moment. So there's got to be a local coffee roaster, right? And so there's one in Hamilton, I think is where they're located. That's where their stuff ships from anyway, which is about an hour from here. So I have a Detour Coffee Roasters subscription, and I signed up for their fanciest subscription, of course, to get their single origin coffee. And every label has a whole little story. It tells you the variety of bean, the altitude at which it was grown, exactly where it came from, how it was processed. It'll even tell you the name of the farmer who made it. This one says various smallholder farmers, but the last subscription there were specific names of people that I couldn't pronounce. So if you care where your beans come from, all of this is largely meaningless to me. I just hope that ultimately it means that the farmers are getting paid a fair wage, and also it's really good coffee.
Tend to have a higher chance of farmers getting a fair price, a fair trade for their beans if you go small, local.
Yeah. That's my hoping.
Yeah, that's good hoping. I myself ate a lot of tofu and carrots just before we started recording, so decided instead of iced coffee, I was going to have some peppermint tea, as my belly is decidedly full of tasty carrots and fried tofu with a little bit of salt and roasted sesame seeds.
That sounds good.
It's actually a really tasty, quick lunch that I really enjoy making because I love carrots, and you can make it with any veggie. That just the bag I happened to grab was carrots and tofu, which is tasty.
I haven't eaten tofu at the moment. I should get tofu.
I have 4 bricks in my fridge.
I think I still have 3 or 4 packages of the ground beef substitute, veggie ground.
Yeah.
Should do something with that.
Is it in your freezer?
No, it's just in the fridge at the moment.
Make sure it hasn't expired.
Oh no, it definitely has not.
Okay. No, I've been enjoying. I had smoked tofu in my fridge, but I seem to be going through a lot of smoked tofu right now because you don't need to heat up the smoked tofu if you don't want to. I am. I've been having it on toast in the mornings with a bit of hummus. So lightly toasted bread, hummus, smoked tofu, green stuff.
That sounds good.
It's a really tasty sandwich. So I ran out of smoked tofu, so I did not do that this morning for breakfast. I instead ate leftover lasagna because I ordered lasagna last night, like an adult.
Why not?
Hey, listen, first off, it's a local restaurant to me. It's Pascali's. It's where I get my Italian from. And
Oh yeah.
It's a place with the Mile High chocolate cake.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. Also, their takeout lasagna is in a 6x8 aluminum pan.
It's like that's a whole small lasagna.
It is a whole small. I cannot eat it in one sitting. Even if I'm hungry, I can only get through half of the lasagna.
Wow, that is
Like,
a capital L lasagna.
I do not mind paying for their lasagna because, my lord, do you get a lot of lasagna.
That's a whole lasagna.
It's a whole lasagna. So I ate half last night for dinner and half this morning for breakfast because I was like, well, it's in the fridge. And I don't have any smoked tofu right now. So
I'm feeling rather boring with my Greek yogurt and chia seeds.
nah. More like it's my version of the morning after pizza because I don't eat pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's got the same constituent components.
Pretty much. So I just, I don't know. It's a thing. So it's fine. But so I figured, lunch should be slightly healthier than reheated lasagna. hence the carrots and tofu.
Fair enough.
Weird eating habits. That's not it. But no, that it sort of equated not having coffee right now. So I'm having a big old glass of a stash peppermint tea because after dinner just seems like a tea kind of time. Having said that, once we're done recording and I'm done this cup of tea, I'll probably go have an iced coffee.
Yeah, I should have made iced coffee rather than hot, but meh.
Listen, I accomplished my big adult thing for the day. I got my wireless headphones to actually register on the computer.
That is
Which
always
is
a challenge.
A super simple process that never works right.
That is only slightly less difficult than hooking up a printer, so legitimate applause.
I have a new printer to hook up. I do not desire to lose the will to live right now, so I'm not hooking up the printer today. I might hook up the printer this week.
I still have not hooked up our printer from the move, so
Yeah.
And we're two tech people.
Yeah,
so,
you guys really should be able to handle a printer setup. I am one blind historian.
It's even unpacked. It is sitting here on a shelf. It literally just needs to be hooked up, and we haven't done it because we don't wanna.
Yep. So if I get my printer hooked up before you guys, do I get to make fun of the two of you?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'm wearing a cool thread today.
Let's have a cool thread.
So, because I've been making, for people who are new, I went on a clothes making spree over the last couple of weeks with Stash Dash in the realm of crocheted cardigans. I fell down a crochet cardigan hole. I am happy in my crazy, but I think, since June? This is my third complete crochet cardigan that I'm wearing today. It is the Summer Nights crocheted cardigan. It's got lacy open bits. In this case, it happens to be in some bright spring summery colors. It's in a variegated yarn from Loops and Threads. It's called the Ice Cream Big Scoop. It's a DK weight yarn. I think it's Loops and Threads. It's a DK weight yarn, and it goes in a beautiful variegated white in through grassy greens with some dandelion, like yellowy color as I feel up my chest. Dandelion yellow sections. So it has this really simple lacework section piece to it, which is really nice and pretty. I paired it with my gray dress, which is quite booby. So you're welcome, Internet. You get some cleavage today. I am comfortable with my level of cleavage. Thank you. It's fine. I'm not bothered by it. I pointed out to Mr. B that if he wanted to see cleavage, you should have seen me when I was 18 because I'm tame now that I'm in my 30s. There's still a lot going on there, guys. So I stopped at elbow length sleeves and I did a little crochet, not the edging they prescribed for. I wanted a slightly beefier edging so I could feel where the edge was. And it also tells me which way the cardigan is in and out, which is handy because I can't always see things. And I did my edging in a denim blue cotton that I had hanging around. So I have a summer cardigan, which I put over one of my summer dresses, which looks really cute. And if there's any time to wear a summer cardigan, it's in the summer.
Oh, I was going to say winter.
This is going to get worn probably starting sometime around March because then it'll feel springy, even though it's still snowy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll just wear it with t-shirts instead. It'll be fine. But yes, it's one of the cardigans have finished since Stash Dash started.
I wove in the ends and washed the Endless Summer Adventures finally.
Excellent.
It is too warm to wear.
Listen.
It's a lace cotton shawl and it's too warm in here to wear it.
I was weaving in the ends for this cardigan while we were making show notes. It's been washed and blocked. And I'm not going to show you the bottom half of it because one of the ends is still not woven in. Whatever, we're presentable from the boobs up. It's fine.
It's fine. Whatever's on camera looks good. That's all that matters.
Okay, it's good. That's all that matters. You guys don't care about the rest of it anyway. It's fine.
Hashtag podcaster life.
Pretty freaking much, people. So that's my cool thread.
All right.
So good.
Shall we move on to some woolly workings? We have the same number of projects this week. Everybody panic.
I was under the weather no, I wasn't under the weather last week. In the realm of too much information, I lose anywhere from 3 to 7 days to exhaustion because of my cycle. This week was like 6. So this time around we lost about 6 days. So I don't do a lot. So there's not 6 projects. I don't have an FO. Because of moderately decent health concerns, I look like a normal crafter instead of a crazy crafter.
So when Jocelyn has a severe physical handicap, I can keep up.
I can't stay awake for more than 2.5 hours to 4 hours to stretch in a day. Yeah, that really gives you a competitive edge. Or when I can't stay up, all I've got the energy to do is lie in bed and listen to audiobooks. Helps you out a lot. It helps you out a lot.
Really does.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, who wants to go first then?
I'll go first.
Okay.
In the realm of crocheted cardigans.
Another one. Hey, I'm almost gotten through the big stack in my favorites bundle that I really enjoyed, that I like the look of, that I wanted to make. This is the back panel for the Campside Cardi. Now, this yarn has got a bit of a story. It started out in another project sent to me by one of our Patreon members because she had made it and it was way too big for her. It was still really quite big for me. So she made the next size down and that's still almost too baggy for me. So the sizing's way off. Well, but I didn't want the yarn to go to waste because it's a really nice cotton yarn and it's got a really nice neutral flare through it. So it's got this beautiful sort of gray browns into light blues and whites. So I started crocheting a cardigan because I knew that I could use the yarn that way. And again, I found more of that denim cotton that I have just floating around to make my bottom ribbing. So I'm working my way up the back panel. Normally, because crocheting is quite quickly, I tend to crochet while I'm in bed, which makes me sound like a grandmother. Hear me out. I share my bed with a cat. She's not that large. And if I fall asleep, there's only one live stitch. So crochet is quite safe to knit or work on while you're in bed, listening to the radio, podcasts, books, and stuff. Because when I fall asleep, it's fine. This one's being worked on a 5.5 millimeter hook. It's just simple half double crochets. Because I'm doing the back piece first, it's the largest piece, so it takes the longest. I need to do one more color repeat. So I've just color repeated out of my whites into my blues. And I need to color repeat one more time back into my whites because this is a tunic length cardigan. It's meant to be a tunic length cardigan, so it's meant to go down past the butt to the thighs. So going to the 20 some odd inches that I need to from my armpits down is done. So technically, if I was to lay this out, it would just cover the girls because it would go to my armpits. So I need to do this top shoulder section. All right.
On the back. And then I can do my front panels. The front panels are going to seem like they're going to fly because they're obviously not the same width as the back panel. Per panel. So that should go a lot quicker for me, I hope. But again, I'm starting to feel better. I don't feel quite so tired. To save myself a lot of grief, I'm literally just pulling the knitting out as I'm crocheting it up. So as one sweater disappears, another sweater just sort of appears. Oh, it's a nice sweater pattern. It's just the sizing is so off. And it's just too big. There's so much spare fabric. We actually put my niece behind me and in the sweater because there's just not much room in the larger
Wow.
size. And that wasn't like just it's a really big size. So it's like I super appreciate that it was sent for me to use. And I did talk to the lady, it's one of our Patreon members, so she knows what I'm doing. Actually sent her a link for this crochet pattern because she still has more of that yarn. And it's working up really nicely as a cotton sort of camping cardigan. Not that I camp, because I'm not a camper, but it would do really well on campsites and out hiking and stuff because it just cotton. It's so bloody versatile. And you can wash and dry the snot out of it. Yeah.
Nice.
So handy. So that is the first project I'm working on. Is there a project page? Hell no. Hell no. When would I do a project page?
Project page. One day, maybe.
Mm.
I get so excited when there's a project page and then it's like a link to the pattern, maybe the yarn. There's no pictures, even though it's been done for like a year.
Yep.
I try.
Now,
I try.
I do post for Stash Dash. So the stuff I finish during Stash Dash. Oh, there's a husband walking around back there. The stuff your background is interactive. Mine just a screen.
Got live
So,
interesting things in my background.
apparently, I'm not quite as fun. No, for the Stash Dash projects, I have to have pictures for them for my final goal posts and stuff. So like those will get projects and stuff, but that will happen like the day Stash Dash ends, and I have to get my entries in. So there'll be a massive upload, and then I'll be like, God, I'm never doing that again. So I always promise myself I won't fall behind. That's a lie. You know it's a lie. I know it's a lie. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's a lie. We all know I'm not going to do it. We all know this.
I've accepted this. It's fine.
It's just a part of who I am. Part of who I am. But with 3 projects apiece, it means you get to go next.
Woo! What shall I talk about first? How about... Now let's talk about the thing that I'm working on. I'm working on a second swatch for the Comfort Fade Cardi. Because the first swatch, which I've now moved over here, my first swatch is washed and blocked. I don't know, I don't really block sweaters, I just kind of let them dry. So, it's washed, and I counted my stitches. These 2 stitch markers are 21 stitches apart. That distance should be 4 inches. It's a little over 4¼ inches. So,
you're doing another swatch.
This needle size was too big. 4mm was too big. So I'm doing another swatch on 3.5. And if this comes out too small, I will be very frustrated because it means I will have to pick one of these needles, pick the fabric I like best, go with that size of needle, and just do some math to refigure out stitch counts, which I'm perfectly capable of doing that math. It's not hard. It's just tedious and I don't want to do it.
That's fair.
Grumble, grumble, grumble. So hopefully this going down a half needle size will make for some better fabric. And honestly, I like this fabric better. It's totally
squishier.
It's a little bit of a tighter weave because the looser the weave of fabric, and then if it's in a high wear area like the sleeve of a sweater, it'll pill more and like wear out faster. So like this one with the 4mm needle, like you can see it stretches out pretty far versus this one, which is distinctly less far. So I like the fabric on this one better. So I'm hoping the 3.5mm is the needle size that I need to go with.
Okay, that works. You do know that row count's important with the Comfort Fade Cardi, yes?
Sorry, I know that which?
Row count is also important. You probably want to do like a real sized swatch there, dear. Because you had the same problem with your flax. Because your row count was a bit off.
I don't care about row count. I could figure out row count on the fly. That doesn't bother me.
Okay. Just checking.
I think I might end up, well, because it's a cardigan, I don't know. I'm a lot more comfortable being off on my row count than the stitch count.
Okay.
Because the stitch count is what's going to make it fit in the shoulder chest area. And as long as that fits, if it's a little short or a little long, that's fine. Doesn't bother me either way.
See, if it's a little short or it's a little long, drives me crazy.
Yeah, doesn't really bother me.
So that's the thing. Wow, there you go. Answered my own question. All right,
Oh, I
suppose that
guess
means
I
I'm
should
up.
probably talk about the yarn that I'm working on. This is a kit that I bought from Sew Into Knitting at the Manitoba Fiber Festival 2 years ago.
2.
So this is a thing on my Make 9, it's a thing on my bingo challenge, and it's the thing that I'm doing for our Patreon knit along, which was to knit an old thing in your library or however we worded that.
Library or favorites bundle.
Yes. So it was the oldest thing that I had yarn for in my stash.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'm getting it done.
Well, it's good because, you know, we've talked ourselves into extra stuff already.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super
Like
excited
I
for
do.
that.
Like I do. All right, so I am madly working on my niece's sweater. I am working on a flax and worsted. It is being done with 2 yarns being held double. The 2 yarns that are being held double are an incredibly bright pink. I like to call it electric pink, ice searing pink. That's not actually the color name, but that's what I call it. From Manos del Uruguay. And a highlighter, very good at yarn, which has got all the highlighter colors you could ever get out of those scented Mr. Sharpie highlighter boxes from school. So those 2 yarns being held together, I am working on the body of the sweater, and this child is tall. You guys, she's about as tall as her mother at 13. Her mom's 5'8", 5'7", 5'8". She's not that far behind me. So she's super skinny. She's got a lot of space, but I am into the 15, 16-inch range on the body from the armpits, which is great because from the armholes, I need to be at 20 finished inches for her torso length.
Because she is a noodle.
She is a noodle, and this will be comfortably just under her butt, which gives her space to continue to noodle up in her torso, should she desire to do so, without being able to not wear the sweater. And if she doesn't, great. And if she does, she's fine. Now, her aunt, who is just shy of 6 feet tall, like I'm 5 foot, 10 and change, so I'm pretty much at 6 feet. My torso length is about 21 inches. So she's pretty much on par that way, but we already have the same arm wingspan. So the difference being is I have real arms and she has chicken arms. She's just stretched thin, that child, because we just cannot get her to eat enough to put on any weight. It's just growing so fast. It's just all skin and bones. So I am hoping to the heavens that I can bloody well finish this body. It's stockinette in the round. It's not hard, guys. I have done this much in a week. So I've done just about 8 to 10 inches of knitting in a week on the body, which is boring. It's boring stockinette knitting, which is perfect for movies and TV. And I was so excited to do that this week and watch a bunch of stuff. And then I spent most of the week in bed. And because I am absolutely desperate to never start this sweater again. Ever again. I did not take it with me to bed. I left it out here at the computer and went, no. There will be no dropped stitches. There will be no, oh my goodness, I gotta ladder this up properly so it disappears in this one. No. This is worked on while I am conscious. I am not doing this again. I'm not doing fixes unless absolutely necessary. I'm gonna fade out. No, I think I have enough of the pink and the highlighter that I'll be okay to leave as is. I'm going to do this and do the gray trim and then jump right in on the sleeves because I needs to get this done. I needs to get this done. A, I want the kid to have it for when she goes back to school in September. B, if I can get it done by the end of the month, which is a huge ask. Given the other project I need to get done by the end of the month. Because then that way it will count for the Marl-along that Amy from Stranded Dyeworks is hosting right now. So I have definitely fallen behind on getting this sweater complete. It is a medium adult flax. It is not it's not a kid-sized sweater. Not a kid-sized sweater. She's also not sized like a child.
Yeah, she's like a whole adult size now.
She is a whole adult size now. So working on that is causing Diana a bit of strain because Diana remembers when she was shorter and cuter and more kid-like.
Yeah, I saw her on the webcam the other day. I'm like, that's a whole like nearly adult.
That's a teenager. We don't have a kid in the house anymore. We got
that
a
is a whole
teenager.
teenager.
That is a whole teenager. Yeah, whatever. Your oldest nephew's old enough to drink.
Yeah, I know. I'm having trouble reconciling that one because, like, I remember when he was about the age that the younger nephew is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how old he was when I met him. I'm having a lot of
Yep.
trouble reconciling that.
Yep. I now officially know people who are old enough to drink whose diapers I've changed.
Gosh.
And I'm not in my 40s yet. I'm still in my 30s.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna be over here having an existential crisis.
Cool. Well, you were overdue for your quarter life crisis anyway, so it was fun.
Yeah.
So that's my second project. It's just nothing but body sweater knitting, which is great because I finally was able to watch a movie last night, and I enjoyed knitting while I was doing it.
My second project is pretty boring.
Okay.
So I'll talk about it quickly. It's the sock for Mr. Diana, the first sock of a pair, because I needed something boring to knit on and something that wasn't going to cover my lap and melt me in this heat.
That's fair.
So this sock is, I think I need Adam to stick it on his foot yesterday, so I think I need 1 more inch and then I can do the heel.
Nice. Making great progress. Looks good.
I'm really happy with this self-striping yarn. This is Online Super Sock, the forest color line. This particular one is the green self-striping. So we've got like sort of like a bluey spruce green and then like a really dark leaf green and a light leaf green and sort of like this light tealy green. I don't know what to call this one that's sort of more blue looking, especially on camera. And then it's broken up with chunks of things that basically look like a checker when you knit it up because the color changes. Oh, I'm actually at that part right now. The color on the yarn changes so fast that basically 1 stitch is white and 1 stitch is black. So it ends up looking like a checkered-y sort of pattern. So when you're knitting it up, it looks really, really, really fancy. And when non-knitters look at you, they're like, wow, how'd you do that? You're so amazing. And then you just pull out this ball of yarn and you're like, no, it's the yarn. It's all the yarn. I'm not doing anything.
Trust me, guys.
Which is why I love vanilla socks with fancy yarn.
Yeah. I love me a nice striped yarn.
As soon as I finish the swatch, I will be working on that last inch of foot for this toe-up vanilla sock.
Nice. I'm excited. All right.
Really nicely.
It is coming along really good. It also just goes to show how many online meetings you've had this week where you've been able to knit roundy.
Roundy.
Woo, boy. Okay. Put down the sweater for a second because we're going to talk about that Sislov shawl. The Sislov shawl is a half circle crochet shawl that is also happens to be a part of a crochet along. So I found the shawl and the designer because we watch, and by we I mean me, watch J Hook Designs, who is a crocheter. So her and Pamela from Pamela Crochets did crochet along last month, and she enjoyed it so much this month she's doing another one. So I'm participating in this month's crochet along because I really like the pattern, and this is how big my shawl has gotten. So
ooh.
I am making progress. I am about almost a solid week behind where I need to be done on time. So I have to haul butt this week to catch up because these rows are starting to get long, folks. So yeah. I'm just actually in the middle of a row right now, which is fine. I know where I am. We're good to go. Again, 1 live stitch. It's really easy to tell. So I've just started into a new lace section. So, and I showed Diana crochet charts, and she went, "Oh my!"
Oh, crochet charts are something else.
They're a treat. They're not a treat. The density of this yarn is amazing. This is a fingering weight yarn. It is from Zen Yarn Gardens. I think it is the National Gallery of Ireland. I forget everything else about the colorway name except for the Ireland part.
I can't help you.
It's a beautiful variegated yarn. It's got these gorgeous ice blues and whites in through beautiful muted light browns into a deep brown. I like to go, it goes from glacial blues to whites to coffee with a lot of cream to coffee with a little bit of cream to coffee with like no cream.
Coffee with varying amounts of cream.
Well, that's how you would sort of describe these browns, wouldn't you? Like you could use other like mochas but yeah, it's coffee with various shades of cream in it is what it is. So I am making progress. This is a huge shawl. It is a 3 to 4 skein fingering weight shawl when it is finished. I of course am crazy and I'm doing the 4 skein shawl. Of course I'm doing the big 4 skein shawl. Why wouldn't I? With the picot border.
Well, absolutely.
Because I like picot, because if we're committing to 3.5 to 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn, we're committing to a picot edging. At that point,
absolutely.
here's much makes no difference. Just do it. So I'm going to make progress, but I have got to haul butt on this if I'm going to get it done because I need to be twice this size in very short order. Those extra days of sleeping wouldn't help me. My ball's getting very tiny. Very tiny. Tiny. So I'm going to have to start a new ball here shortly. What I love about crocheting is I crochet my ends in as I go. So when I am done this shawl, I will have exactly 2 ends to weave in. The start of the shawl and the end of the shawl.
So great. I love when you can do that.
Feels so nice. So I am got to make some mad progress on that. That I have to be careful with because I can only work on about 3 or 4 rows at a time, and then I literally have to put it down and go do something else because my eyes get so tired. The stitches are quite small and it's hard for me to see them. But I am determined. Even if I'm like a day or so late, it's not like I'm going to enter. I never enter into any of these knit-alongs. I just like the arbitrary challenge of them. So I'm going to haul butt because I think I could still get it done. If not done, be so close to done. I'm doing the border and really, that's fine. By the end of the month. So that's my goal. I want to be done the campsite cardigan, the Sislov shawl, and Izzy's sweater. And it's like the 19th. So I've got like 11 days.
You can do it if you just never sleep again.
The upside to the week of sleep is the week after is the week of no sleep. Because I go from suffering narcolepsy to being an insomniac, apparently.
Awesome. That sounds very healthy.
It's not, but it's what my body does. So cool. That's a thing. So hopefully.
Yeah, embrace it, I guess.
It is what it is. I'm going to be awake whether I want to be or not. So I might as well be productive.
Sounds like a good philosophy.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's all I've got for Woolly Workings.
All right. I have one more thing, which is the thing that I have made the most progress on. So I was saving it for last.
Ooh.
When one is learning a new technique, one may find it very challenging for quite some time. And then one day, one picks up this technique and just kind of, you just do it because something has clicked and you just understand it and it's suddenly easy. That's what happened this week with cables for me.
I was like, Cable Myth Shawl's coming out, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I suddenly understand cables so well that I barely need a chart and I can do it while having a conversation. Which is not something I could do 2 weeks ago.
What? That was not a thing you could have done. And then here you are working on the cable thing on the Patreon e-knit on, and I'm like, okay, cool. When did that skill happen?
So I did like, I don't know, what is that, almost 12 inches of knitting on this border?
Yes.
This week?
Yeah.
This border that formerly, like, I did the 116 row repeat, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm so done. And this is like, la 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 la, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh,
So if I just hold
that's
that up
so
so that
good.
it attaches it. Like, look at all that progress. That's so much progress. I don't think I even screwed it up. I almost screwed it up, but I caught my mistake before I knit like 3 more stitches and I could fix it. So that was great.
Nice. Nice.
It just
Oh, I'm so excited.
looks so good.
Are we
I
at the
think I did,
halfway
like,
point?
Oh, we're past the halfway point. I only have
Ooh.
this many more stitches to knit an edge onto.
Okay. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. That's what stage you're at.
Yeah, there is. There is hope. There is
There's
hope.
hope. There's
There is
some hardcore
hope.
hope. Yep. Yep.
I can't do this and be interactive enough to do a podcast conversation, but like I'm so excited to just pick this up and keep working on it. Like I'm gonna watch some things and work on this, and like that's my plan for the day. It's like this and video games.
Beautiful plan. Beautiful plan.
So this
Love
is
it.
the for coming up on the last time she says before she puts it down for another month.
At least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, I know. This is the Celtic Myths fingering weight version. I think there's also a DK or a worsted weight version. There we go. So you can, if I scoot back, you can see that I'm almost done. I'm definitely over halfway. I'd say that's about 2/3. Yes, this is the fingering weight version, but I think I'm actually doing this out of DK weight yarn because the yarn that I got for it is kind of thick and thin. And I don't know, it's working out just fine. I started this as part of the knitting subreddit, did a knit along in like 2014, 15, something like that. This is my oldest work in progress. It's like
when dinosaurs
6 years
ruled
old.
the earth.
It's like 6 years old.
Oh,
I'm quite certain I started this before I moved out of my parents' house.
it had to be pretty darn close to it. Like you've had that
And
whip
that was
for
6 years ago.
a good long while. A good long while.
So this is at least 6 years old.
Whew.
I might actually finish it. I'm impressed that I still want to work on it like 6 years later, that this is still a thing that I want.
Oh, I love it.
Because anything else that gets to be like 2 and 3 years old, I've frogged.
Background noise brought to you by Mr. Diana blowing his nose.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Diana also suffers from allergies.
I don't know what's in the air today. No, we've both been like messed up today. I don't know what's in the air.
I'm sorry, guys. Allergies suck. I know that from personal experience. Can't recommend. Yeah. Can't recommend.
Block the Diablo in the background here. Yarn. What is this yarn? This yarn is Juniper Moon Farm Zoe base, which is 60% cotton and 40% linen. Do you have a weight on you anywhere? You do not. You don't have so much as a number for a weight. This might be closer to a DK, or maybe it's a heavy fingering, or maybe it's actually just a fingering. I don't know.
It's some sort of lightweight yarn.
What needle size am I working on here?
No one looks at that and thinks to themselves, wow, that's a bulky. It's just
3.75, which is...
Yeah, you're a light fingering weight.
Yeah, anyway. So, and because it's a little bit thick thin, just the plain stockinette part is kind of rustic looking. Like this whole thing's just got fantastic texture. I'm really excited to wear it.
It's your Outlander shawl.
It really is. Yeah, I started this before Outlander was a show.
You did.
Outlander was not a thing that I was aware of when I started this.
Dear, you started that before we were friends.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
So that's also on my bingo sheet to finish this year.
Good. You'll get some bingo sheet stuff checked off.
So I'm really excited about that. And I just realized that if that's a 3.75 needle, and if the 3.5 needle is too small for my swatch for the Comfort Fade, I'm going to be knitting one more swatch because that needle has been in there so long I didn't even know I had a 3.75 mil needle.
Oh my. Well, it also encourages you to super finish it so you can get that Comfort Fade Cardi on your needles ASAP.
Yes.
ASAP.
The other great thing about knitting on the edging, because it's a combination of knits and purls and like different hand movements, I normally can't knit for as many hours as I knit yesterday because my thumb will start to hurt.
Okay, yeah.
Like I can't knit on a plain stockinette sock for that long. Like I can only do maybe an hour or two, but I was knitting that all afternoon yesterday. And because of all the different hand movements, I'm fine. I can keep working on stuff today.
I feel like it just means all over cabled sweaters are going to be a part of your future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I feel
maybe.
like it's going to happen.
Just like things that aren't straight stockinette all the time, much as I love doing straight stockinette because I can actually just not look at it. I can focus fully on whatever is on the screen and excuse me.
In my case, I can sit down and close my eyes and listen to an audiobook and keep knitting because I don't have to look at what I'm doing. Same idea, just resting my eyeballs instead of using them for something else. It works.
Knit and learn.
Next week, goal is for me to have more things than Diana.
It's a very achievable goal.
Well, so the universe feels like it's right and all in its proper placing for you, because I know it bothers you when I have the same amount or fewer projects than you do.
The world is out of balance.
Oh my goodness.
Shall we talk about some wool gathering?
Let's talk about some wool gathering.
Just the usual thing. The next Patreon hangout is going to be on the 22nd of August, because I wrote it down. Because our last, or the one for this month, was yesterday, which will be a few days ago by the time you see this. Patreon is a method of financially supporting us with some low number of dollars donation each month, which just helps cover our hosting fees. We're saving up for ring lights and stuff like that.
We have money for the ring lights. I need to find
we?
one that'll work for me, and I need to know what one you want. And we were waiting for you to get your new office set up before we did that. So
also true, because new job coming up, and I get some money for an office setup. So I'll see what I can charge to the office. Well, if I can charge the ring light to the office, I'll do that.
Yeah, see what setup's going to work for you, because I've got the one that I've picked is a little small base lamp for the soft lamp, so it'll sit behind my computer screen and soft lamp at me. But it's a very small, compact one, so I can also take it with me and travel. So it's meant to be a very small one, which is what I wanted. So like I found what I wanted, and I was like, okay, but Diana's setup is different. And not to get too tech nerdy, I spent 5 hours reading reviews on the one I'm going to order for myself. So it's not like I'm going to put in less time for yours. I just need to know what it is that you're looking for. Fair enough. And by me, I mean my screen reader. He read a lot of reviews this week. Last week, not this week, last week. He read a lot of reviews. It's a good man.
The air conditioner is
But yeah, no, it happens.
The wind must be a different angle.
I guess. So the bright side is that if you join us and you're on Patreon from anywhere from $1 up, there's a bunch of extra stuff going on. We're hosting a knit-along. We post blogs. There's extra video content. We're discussing about doing some audio chat streams and setting up a couple of other things for Patreon members. So we're always rounding out and adding more so that we can have more of a one-on-one sort of interaction with people. And because we can.
Because it's fun to know that people are out there that care what we do.
Yeah, it's weird, but I love it. It's weird, but I love it.
It's a weird way to phrase it, but like, we're not just shouting into the void. There are real people out there.
I know, it's so cool and so frightening at the same time. I am looking at my phone for a reason, because the other thing I wanted to talk about is a thing that's on my phone.
Okay, what is this other thing?
That'll be the knit-along, mystery knit-along we are joining.
Oh, yes.
So thanks to Rafax. Thanks, Rafax. Jocelyn saw an ad, well, I'll link, to a Geek Along sweater mystery knit by, and since I'm on my, I put the download on my phone so I can blow up the font real big, by Megan and Jacques of Lattes and Llamas, and it is called the 8-bit sweater. Now, it is a all-over colorwork sweater, maybe. It's a Mr. Mako, it's a Mr. Knit Along. So we're not entirely sure. Because,
But it's
we're not entirely
free
sure.
and geeky.
A, it's free, and B, it's geeky, and C, it has the Mario Kart star, classic video game star, as your teaser picture.
I'm so pumped.
Which is why I said, well, this has got to happen. And because we could. And me and Diane are both huge video game fans. So we're telling everybody about it because we've ordered our yarn. And that's coming in the mail. And we're hoping it gets here in time for Diana to swatch. I will swatch the day my stuff shows up. Do not doubt. Do not doubt. Diana went with some...
I don't even have to wind yarn. It comes in balls.
Nope. Yours comes in balls. I have to widen to mine. Diana went with some knit picks. I forget what colors you went with.
It was Wool of the Andes Sport Weight in Midnight Heather and Oyster Heather, I think. Super dark blue that's basically black and slightly cream off-white.
Yep. I went with some Briggs & Little in their Durasport, and I went with a dark gray and a light gray. So I will have a monochromatic gray, like snow, on the TV screens. And Diana will have a blue and green. So we're going to work on that. If you think for half a second that I won't be bullying Diana hard to stay up to date with the make-along, you're crazy. I'm going to push myself to do the swatch. Knitting charts are very different from crochet charts. Thank heavens, crochet charts are a little bit like circuit boards from time to time. They are an amazing challenge, and once I'm done the Sis Love shawl, I am going to be comfortable saying I'm a capital C crocheter. Like I'm good. Good. I can do written, I can do video, I can do charts, it's fine. This will be my first, probably close to almost fully charted knitting pattern. So that'll be an interesting challenge. Hope Diana's ready for all those texts. What am I doing? It says a thing on the thing and I did something wrong, and help me fix it from distance. So that's going to start on the 1st of August, and we are both stoked about that. How both of us are going to manage 2 sweater knit-alongs at the same time is why you're watching us panic about finishing things before the 1st of August right now. Or in Diana's case, start her comfort bakery.
I gotta have the right size swatch. It's gotta be correct.
My hope is to finish the Nisa sweater this week, so that next week, because I got a couple of days before we flip over to the 1st of August, I can get my flat white past the yoke part, so then I'm just rounding around and knitting on the body for myself. So when I need a break from my 8-bit sweater, I can just pick up the roundy knitting and just go roundy. That's my hope. So as soon as the yarn comes in, you'll see some photos go up and we'll do some swatches. But that is the only other sort of wool gathering we've got. That is a thing that is happening.
We'll be showing off yarn in a week or 2. Probably not for the next one, but the one after.
Possibly the next one, if not for sure the one after. It just depends on when it shows up.
Yeah.
And we have no control over that.
So
I might be swatching, washing, drying, and casting on the 1st of August all the same time, because that's when my yarn arrives. I have no control over this. But as soon as it gets here, I'm going to get started. So super stoked. She has some, or they have some, the designers Lattes and Llamas has amazing geeky patterns. They've got Afghans,
so good.
Word box. They've got a bunch of just really cool designs that I thoroughly enjoy. So I am super hopeful that I really like this one, because then I can justify making a couch Afghan with the nationalities from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. I want to do one that's all of the video games in there that I recognize that I've played.
They're so, gosh, she's got Enterprise, she's got Portal, she's got the classics, she's got, just check them out. They've got some amazing patterns. So super stoked. So that was the wall gathering I wanted to throw in there last minute because it occurred to me if we don't start talking about it now, we're going to be way too excited. Way too excited to wait. Because that's the kind of people we are. Does that mean I'm doing my simple hug? No. I've bought the simple hug pattern, but I'm not doing it. I know better. I cannot manage 3 sweaters. I cannot. But
so taking bets on whether Jocelyn starts the simple hug next week.
Nope, not doing it. I got to get the campsite cardi will count for the something with sleeves knit along. The flax pullover counts for the marled along. And I need to get that Sislo shawl finished because it's a Sislo shawl with a crochet along. And I may throw it into the This Knits effing self-care along because I am making it entirely for me. So I have got things that are going on. And there's lots of stuff going on. Like 10 Rows a Day is doing, I think it's 100 days of sock knitting. So she's doing the 100-day challenge, but for socks. So it's like
Nice.
there's so much fun stuff going on right now. So it's a great time to jump in and start doing things for fun in my mind. If you can do those sorts of things. If you don't like deadline knitting, don't do a make-along. You would not enjoy it. You knit to your pace.
I hate deadlines, but it's fun to knit the same thing as everybody else and finish whenever.
Yeah, that's fair. My goal is to see if I can get the MCAL finished on time because I get so close and then I just sort of miss the mark. So I'm like, okay, well, let's stretch and try to make it this time and make it work. So we'll see how that goes. But that's it. I don't know where we go after this. I'm almost out of tea. What's next?
Literature. We're talking books. You have many books.
I laid in bed for like 20 hours a day for 3 days straight. What do you want?
I have 2 sciencey books. Your books are more fun, probably.
Oh, yeah. And no, depends. If you like science, then maybe not. You might not like romance. Who knows? I did it. I finished the last book in the Nalini Singh Asai Changeling World Series, Alpha Knight. And now I want more. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew I should have just left it. Should have just left it, but I didn't. And now I'm out, and I have to wait for her to write books. And sad panda. Also, wow, okay, I'm still enjoying the book. That was book 19. I still really like the series. I want more in the series. I may honestly go read the point books, 0.5s, 0.75s, 0.25s, novellas. I may read those just to have more info of the world, which I never do. Never do.
It's a stellar review of this book
I
series.
really like the series. It's a really good series. I'm addicted. I want a subscription to Wild Woman magazine, which is about, personal, intimate skin privileges, style, and some anyway. It's like Cosmo, but only for changelings. Yes. Yes, please. Thank you. But any of your chapter breaks also include that you literally made a Cosmo for changeling women? Yes. Yes, your attention to world detail is delightful. I love it. I love it. And then it's good because they read like Cosmo headlines, like how to get your guy.
That's awesome. Sounds so entertaining.
Like, sexy but scary. And then they do the stats of one of the characters.
Sounds great. This series is very much on my list.
Oh gosh, so cute. I'd be rereading books randomly as we go through because it's gonna be go-to candy for me for a while. So then I noticed on the Netflix that Crazy Rich Asians has finally made it to Netflix. And I went, yes. So I read the Crazy Rich Asians book because I don't have many rules about doing things in order. I will read books out of order. I'll watch movies out of order. I'll jump in mid-TV series and then go backwards. I'm pretty flexible on that stuff. I'm not flexible on book to movie adaptations. If I know it's a book that's been made into a movie or a TV series, I must at least read the first book before I watch anything. and I stick to my rules. Now, it occasionally backfires because I fall in love with the book and then I don't like the TV series. We'll insert The Expanse as my example there. Sometimes it works out that I enjoy both. Bridget Jones's Diary, I enjoyed the books, I enjoyed the movies. And that's sort of I'm hoping that's the case with Crazy Rich Asians. I enjoyed the book. I thought it was very delightful and really good. And I'm looking forward to watching the movie because I enjoy a nice romantic comedy with good-looking people. And it looks like there's a lot of good-looking people. So I am game. Also, my kind of comedy. Down. So happy. So I am going to watch that this week. Super stoked.
I'm probably going to watch it too. And I'm not going to read the book first because I don't have that rule. But I absolutely must read things in order.
See, where I don't have to.
Order. Yeah, no.
I don't have to.
Order is required. But
nope.
Book, movie, I don't care which one I do first.
Nope. It does not need to be in order. Does not need to be in order.
No, it needs to be in order because later books might give things away.
I drive people crazy, but it doesn't bother me. It does not bother me in the slightest. And I know it bothers some people, so it's fine.
Can't do it. Are you one of those people that'll read the last page of a book first?
Yes. I've been known to.
Oh, can't.
Especially if the person who's recommended the book to me has an incredibly sort of, you must start at the beginning and finish at the end. I will do it just to aggravate them.
You are very aggravating.
They know it doesn't bother me. They know it doesn't bother me. I'm still just as happy to read the book even if I know where the book is going. That's totally fine. I don't care. I'm still just.
But it ruins the mystery.
Did not usually know. I have read a lot of books. There's not really ever. I've never read a book and gone, wow, that's come out of left field. Like it just. There's been moments where I've been like, that's an interesting leap. I like how you got there. Old Man's War by John Scalzi. That was an interesting twist. Didn't expect that twist. But you kind of knew the twist was coming when you read the back of the book, where it told you about the main character. It was great. He went, he visited his wife's grave, he retired, and then he signed up for the army. Like, in your brain went, what? How are they going to explain that? So you read the book, and okay, well, that makes total sense. Yeah.
They explain most of that in the first 3 chapters.
They do, which is great because there's still more sort of mysteries and exploration to go on, and it's good, it's fun. But I like John Scalzi. He's an author I enjoy. So I get those, but I never had that moment where I'm like, oh, I never saw this happening. Like, well, no, I mean, yeah, sure, it could happen. It's not a problem. If it does or it doesn't, I don't care.
But what if a character dies?
I'm still just as attached to the characters, whether I know they're going to pass away or not. It doesn't affect it for me. But I am also one of those people that will read a book knowing that the author is problematic and have no problem disassociating the book from the author. So I don't care if the author was a good human being or not. If I enjoyed the book, I've enjoyed the book in its own right.
Yeah.
Regardless of the author who's created the work. So am I happy to have authors who aren't awful people? Yes. I prefer authors not be awful people. But I know awful people exist, so I'm kind of like, well, I still like the work. People
still make good art, unfortunately.
They do. Yeah, so it's like, it's fine. I just will register the book, but I will never use the author's name because the author's a bad person, but the books are good.
Fair enough. I'm just like, don't financially support the author where it's possible.
Bingo. That's my mind. That's what libraries help me do.
Yeah. Libraries are great.
Libraries are amazing. All right, so that's it. So I decided, okay, well, let's try Nalini Singh's other series, which is about angels and still romance. And let's draw some. Like, that should be fine, right? I like angels. I like romance. I like me smexy men. And the format was very different because this one, the first 3 books, follow the same 2 characters. So it's a far more complicated world, and it's a far more, it's a far sort of bigger plot lines that they're going for. But for me, they got busy with it too soon. So the adult sexy fun times happened too quickly and the characters fall a little flat. Which is sad because the world's kind of interesting and I'd like to learn more about the world, but I'm into book 3. So I listened to Angel's Blood, which is book 1, Archangel's Kiss, which was book 2. And then I started it by reading. I'm listening on Audible, guys, because I'm literally laying in bed all week. and Archangel's Consort, which is book 3, and I'm about halfway through book 3, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying the world enough to make up for the fact that I don't really like the main characters. So I'm not sure if I'll finish it or not. I may not finish it. So it's same author as a series that I am absolutely attached to. So it's, you never know. Yep. So
Fascinating.
that or that or the main character, main female character, just irritates me. I don't like that presentation or female characteristical profile in books. Just makes me mad every time. I don't like it. Don't. Yeah. So it could honestly just be because that's the female protagonist, and that's just so aggravating to me. I can't do it. Which is sad because they're very pretty described boys. But I'd like to see them, not be broken and alone anymore, because I feel sad for them and I want them to have partners so that they have a little bit of happiness in the world. I just can't stand the female lead characters, so I've got to stop. And maybe I can go back when I've had some distance, but right now I don't like her very much.
That's fair. Maybe she gets better.
It's possible, or it's a three book arc and they move into other characters and then she sort of becomes a side character and then I only have to see her in like little bits and then it's much easier on my brain. So I'm like, whatever, we're just checking in. I can skim through this part, move on to the more interesting stuff, but I can't. I need a break right now. So I'm going to go and re-listen to one of my top 5 from the Side Changeling series to just sort of put something good on the books and then go listen to something else for a while. That's it for me for books. I figure that's enough in 1 week.
Well, I've been listening to sciencey books.
Science!
Science! I finished Death by Black Hole by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Woohoo!
It was a series of essays that had been collected into a book, which means that after a while, about 3/4 through the book, things were starting to get a little bit repetitive because in order to talk about a black hole, you have to talk about gravity and you talk about Newton. But in order to talk about this other thing, you have to talk about gravity and you have to talk about Newton. And so, like, some of the essays were touching on a lot of the same topics and things were getting a little repetitive and there was no, like, through line story. So I wasn't, like, super engaged, I guess.
May I recommend doing short story anthologies? Like, that's how I got into, like, solar punk. Was reading a couple short story anthologies because the stories are all different and they're all complete in their own right, even though they fit into a specific subgenre.
Definitely do want to read more short stories.
Yeah, I like those sorts of anthologies as opposed to like essay-based anthologies where it's about a very specific nonfiction thing because you find a lot of repeats going on.
So, I've learned that I'm not especially into essays. Astronomy's kind of cool. Essays, meh. But then essays, meh. But then I started reading I Contain Multitudes by Ed Yong, who is the science writer for The Atlantic, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, he was recommended to me by somebody in my tweet thread about I want to read more BIPOC authors and give me your sciencey BIPOC authors. And so I started this book maybe 3 days ago and I'm halfway through. This one has a through-line story as he's talking about microbiology.
Oh, see, like, that's interesting to me.
Yeah,
you don't finish books that fast, so for you to be finishing a book that quickly, that says really good things about the book.
I mean, I also spent a long time, I spent a lot of the last 2 days just sitting outside knitting, so.
You would have found something else to listen to if you were bored.
That's true. So this one, the way he tells this story is he like sets the scene of he went somewhere to interview someone about this specific microbiology thing, and so he'll describe the setting and how he walks into the room and meets the person and what their personality is like, what they look like a little bit, and like what their main focus and study is, and then it'll get into the okay, so what I want to know from you is thing, and then the rest of the chapter is just exploring thing. And it's all
that's a really interesting setup.
Yeah, so every chapter is sort of an interview, I don't, it's more presented like those YouTube videos that start with your host walking into the room and like, hello, Professor so-and-so, what can you tell me about thing? And then they go into like the animated segments explaining thing. That, but book form.
That's an interview.
But it's not just like question, answer, it's
Conversation.
all of the questions and answer. They just do away with the conversation. They just like take all the questions and answers and put it into explanation.
Nice.
Beyond that
That'd
intro
be very
bit.
interesting.
But because it's presented as kind of a through line story, it's like, okay, so after I talked to this person, then I was wondering about this. So I went here to talk to this next person.
Okay, so you see how you go from A to B to C to D. There's no jumps.
Yeah,
There's like,
so
okay,
like
well, we started here.
We started off in a zoo taking microbiology samples from a pangolin, and now we're talking about the human gut microbiome and how much we don't understand that.
We don't understand it at all.
And we've talked about like meerkats and naked mole rats and what else we talked about?
I feel like I'd really enjoy that, given that I really like ologies, the podcast by Ollie Ward. Yeah, I feel like I would really enjoy that book.
So I'm super into this book. I'm very this is the sciencey book that I was looking for. Like, I'm into the science book.
Excellent.
So I like stories, not essays.
Got it.
For my science.
And now you know.
Now I know. Mm-hmm. So highly recommend I Contain Multitudes. It's absolutely fascinating.
Great. I'm super stoked.
So that's my literature. That is not knitting related in the slightest. Those are my books.
Neither are mine. They're not even knitting in the books. There's a discussion in one of the books, the series of 19, of one character who does knit.
Just a throwaway line in one paragraph that this character knits.
Well, she knit a blanket for her cat. And then, she did a blanket for another cat to have. So, pretty much, yeah.
It's not actually important to the story. Just, this character knits.
Just a little added thing. Oh, yeah, no, it's a thing that I do because I learned it from the TV. I'm like, oh, I learned to knit from a TV, too. Yeah. It's fine. It's good. It's what we're choosing to read, which is good. Hey, that means we're done.
We are done.
Whew. Well, in which case, I'll say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
don't forget to knit.
Ta-da!